joining us and your insight. Let's now move over to the Middle East, where negotiations in Cairo aimed at securing a ceasefire in Gaza were reportedly on the verge of a significant breakthrough, according to two Egyptian security sources. However, there has been no official comment from Israel or Hamas on these claims. An Israeli official denied the breakthrough in a brief statement, but offered no further details. The Egyptian sources indicated that a consensus on a long-term ceasefire had been reached, although key issues remain unresolved, particularly concerning Hamas's weapons. Hamas has consistently stated that it will not lay down its arms, which is a major demand from Israel. This comes as Egyptian state TV reported that Egypt's intelligence chief, General Hassan Mahmoud Rashad, is set to meet with an Israeli delegation led by Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer in Cairo. Qatar's Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani noted that a recent meeting in Doha had seen some progress, but no agreement had been reached on how to end the conflict. He stated that while Hamas is willing to release all remaining Israeli hostages in exchange for an end to the war, Israel insists on the release of hostages without offering a clear resolution on the war itself. Hamas has expressed its openness to a long-term truce with Israel. The conflict, which began after Hamas's October the 7th attack in 2023, has left over 52,000 Palestinians dead, according to the Palestinian health officials. Moving on now, Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba arrives in the Philippines today for high-stakes talks amid rising tensions in the South China Sea. At the top of the agenda are growing Chinese aggression in the South China Sea and pressure from US trade tariffs. Ishiba meets President Ferdinand Marcos as both nations reaffirm their alliance with the US. Negotiations on two defense pacts are expected, with one for military logistics and another for secure information sharing. This will further tighten Japan-Philippines defense ties. Ishiba criticized China's unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force ahead of his trip. Beijing's Coast Guard has been accused of ramming and blocking Philippine ships in disputed waters. Meanwhile, markets jumped as US President Donald Trump announced auto firms will be spared additional tariffs. They'll also be reimbursed for fees already paid. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick hailed it as a major victory. Staying in the Indo-Pacific, tensions are once again rising in the Taiwan Strait. Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense reports that today it had tracked 27 Chinese military aircraft and 9 Navy vessels, along with one other ship operating near the island. Significantly, all 27 aircraft crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait, entering Taiwan's northern and southwestern air defense identification zones. In response, Taiwan scrambled fighter jets, deployed naval vessels, and activated its coastal missile systems to keep a close watch. This marks yet another show of force from Beijing, continuing a pattern of increased military maneuvers in the region, maneuvers that are raising alarms about regional stability. Taiwan, which has governed itself since 1949, is claimed by China as part of its territory. Beijing has made no secret of its goal to bring the island under its control, even suggesting force could be used if necessary. Meanwhile, Taiwan's ruling party is taking precautions. In light of growing concerns about Chinese espionage, party members are now required to report any planned visits to China, including Hong Kong and Macau. That policy follows a report by Radio Free Asia, highlighting fears over infiltration. Let's turn back to the Middle East, where according to local media, more than a dozen Druze citizens were killed in Syria today after heavy clashes with security forces in the Damascus suburb of Jaramana, a Druze Christian area. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the violence began when Islamist government forces stormed the district following the spread of an audio clip containing alleged religious insults. Residents said fighting broke out overnight and lasted around 30 minutes, followed by sporadic gunfire and shelling. "We were trapped in our homes," one resident told reporters anonymously. "The streets are deserted and children haven't gone to school." Jaramana's Druze religious leadership condemned the assault, calling it unjustified and blaming Syrian authorities for escalating the crisis. The Interior Ministry responded, urging calm and warning against actions that disrupt public security or threaten property. Authorities say they are working to identify the source of the offensive audio recording. Tensions have simmered in Jaramana since late February after a deadly checkpoint shooting and further clashes with local armed groups. Israel, which has a Druze population of its own, has warned Syria's Islamist-led government against harming the community. Maintaining order in post-Assad Syria remains a central challenge for the new regime. Well, that's